Hello there, it's Fiona from Weekly Sewing Bee, and I have some tartan cloth here, and I have a pom-pom. I have a pom-pom maker, and I'm going to make a tam, which is a type of Scottish hat. Now, I meant to do it when I did the kilts earlier on, and I just never got round to it, so I just ran out of time. So basically, what is a tam? A tam is a circle hat made up of panels, and it has a solid brim sewn on, and it has a pom-pom on the top. So yes, okay, traditionally it is kind of a joke, but the Scottish Army still has a unit that wears these type of hats, so it can't be that much of a joke. Alright, now to make my pattern, I am going to assume that this is a half of fabric. Actually, I'm going to do it that way. So I'm going to fold into a quarter. What I really need to do is I need to fold my circle. I don't want to waste a big bit of paper, actually. I'm being really naughty. Okay, so we're going to use this waistcoat pattern. So it's not square, but I've got my half circle. I am going to make it a circle just so it's clearer in my brain. So I'm going to cut it into a half circle. You know, a half. Yeah, I'm not making any sense to anyone, including myself. Let's get this done. Okay, just ignore the patterns on it. I'm quite messy. I'm like a doodler. So here we go. We've got our half circle. And what I'm going to do with these half circles is I'm going to divide it into a third. Now, it is going to take a bit of a wiggle, and I'm not denying that. You can, if you've got access to a children's compass and protractor, is make an angle of 30 degrees. It's 180, and we're going to make 6 panels, so we're going to divide 180 by 6, which is 30. Okay, also what I've got, don't know if I've said this, is my band. Now this is 4 inches, and it has to be big enough and loose enough to go around your head. Yeah? We can put that to the side, we don't need that now. And I have folded my fabric up into 6ths. So, now this is going to be big enough to have with a hem allowance. So yeah, just couldn't think of the word there. Lovely. I've buried my scissors now. I've probably drawn on them or something. Oh, that's terrible. There we go. So, get rid of my wool. I don't need that. I've already made my pom-pom. Now, I'm going to line it up so that it goes out in a star fashion. This is just a Fiona thing. And I'm going to trim it slightly. So, because I don't need it quite that big, but I want to be able to get it all on the fabric, and I've got a bit of salvage caught up there. So I am cutting through 6 layers of fabric there and a bit of paper, and then I'm just going to come up to the point. Now I don't want it to be too floppy, that's why I'm doing the pattern with the hem allowance. I line that up with that, and then I cut down and keep the pattern exactly, then I'll still have the right angle and I will be well away. I'm using my crafting scissors because I think it's a bit unfair to use my dressmaking scissors on that amount of fabric. Okay, I'm just going to line this up again, make sure my angles are okay, And what I can do is just fold this over and make sure my curb is about right, because it's not. I can see that. Lovely. Okay, 6 panels. I know, a bit of a boring bit to watch now. All I'm going to do is I'm going to sew each panel together. Now, when you are sewing these sort of panels together, it is quite important that you do check that you keep all your seams on one side. Now, I know that sounds a bit patronising, but it's quite easy to sort of turn it around and not know it. And you'll have 3 facing one way and 3 facing the other. So, in a way, it's quite nice to do it all in one go. And whereas normally I like to sew, if I've got a lot of something, I like to sew them straight together, then yeah. So I'm making sure I'm doing the right, and I'm making sure my points meet up. There we go. Straight down. Now, I did try to make one of these out of a straight piece of fabric and just sew in the angles. I did find it really hard, so I know obviously you can do that. It will give the hat a bit more longevity, because the seam and the cut is always the weakest place. And make sure I'm doing it on the right side, and away I go. So I'm going to pause the camera just whilst I do this, and I'll see you in a minute. Hello, welcome back. Okay, so I've got my pom-pom here. I'm on my last seam. What I'm going to do is I'm going to place the long end in the centre here. Now, I don't expect this to work, okay? So I'm going to try and sew it in with the sewing machine. What I also want to do is I want to sew across the top of all the other panels. This is just so that I'm 100% sure that when I look at it, it's going to sort of spring back at me to show that it's all neat and tidy. Okay, now if I'm not happy with my pom-pom, what I'm going to do is I'm going to literally hand sew it. And then, yeah, it's there, isn't it? So my headband. What I need to do, I need wrong side up, headband halfway, and a pin. Headband halfway and halfway and a pin. I know it's quite funny me using pins, isn't it? But yeah, I do use them, just not when I don't need to. Headband to the pin, halfway. Halfway. Okay, I'm guessing where halfway is on these panels, but I think that's fine. Okay. So, what I'm left with is markers to gather it to. That's how I'm seeing it. Now, I'm going to take this, I'm going to join it together with a couple of stitches. Now, I'm not doing one on the first. I know I've only done 3, and you can do as many as you like. Because the reason I haven't done this one is because I'm going to be taking it out straight away. So I'm going to match my seam up with the halfway, you know, the end, the opposite end of that. I've got them the right side round. Now I want my waistband underneath. It's just going to make it so much easier. I'm going to do a couple of stitches. Okay. Now I'm going to take my fluffy bits, my floofy bits, and literally I am going to sew the bottom. Can I say ram in the top? But I am pushing in all this fabric and making sure that I've got my bottom each way. And you can sort of see it as you're sewing a quarter of an inch and you're pushing half an inch in. And what I'm doing is, I'm sewing up to each pin. Okay. So I've got my thumb and, well, my finger to the point where my pin is. I'm going to take this round the back. I'm just going to untuck my bobbin thread. And I am going to now sew to the next pin. I know. And you can see why I don't pin it all, because I think I can get it fairly balanced. Now I'm trying not to make these puckers too big. And what I'm also trying not to do is push the fabric that way. So I'm making sure that my edges lie up, but I'm making sure that the fabric stays in. And all the time I'm keeping an eye on my bottom line, my bottom piece of fabric. So I think this might be the last pin. So last bit now, all I have to do is push all this material to the end. There we go. So I'm back to the beginning. Now what I need to do is, now you can see why I didn't bother pinning it, because it kind of works that way, but what I have to do now is I have to fold this up with a hem. So all I'm doing is folding a half an inch up there, and then I have to seal in all those floofy bits. I know. Now, if you were going to pin, if you were a pinner, now would be the good time to pin. Yeah? Okay. So, put that there. If you can, if you are doing it in tartan, then we're going to line up a thread line. Now, what I don't want to do is I don't want to push my pleats. I don't want to stretch the top half of this roll, but I want everything tucked under. So in a way, what I'm doing now is I'm folding this over again, and I'm layering it just on the previous stitch line. Okay, a fold and a lay. Now we are sewing a circle, so hopefully sooner or later I'm going to be back at the beginning. just going to adjust it all. I don't want anything caught up untoward. Now the machine in places is going to be sewing through quite a few layers of fabric. That's why it's making that sort of banging noise. Yeah, it's really up to you how you respond to that. I tend to ignore it. I work on the system that I have 2 sewing machines, and I'm not going to say I break them, but I do. I suppose maybe it's just because I'm used to my machines, but yeah. There is a certain amount your machine can do. Don't think that you can't handle this, because it can. And this is a very basic model. Okay, so the last bit is quite easy because it sort of pings itself. Now with luck, there's never any guarantee, is there? It looks so small, I'm sorry, but it does. There we go. I've got a tam. Okay, thank you so much for watching. My name's Fiona from Weekly Sewing Please. Please like, share and subscribe. Bye. Ooh, I'll put it up a bit so you can see it. Yeah, a proper tam. Alright, thank you for watching.